Hey everybody, Kelly Sue with Cleopatra Arts and trying a different recording angle today. And one of the fans asked us for a Happy Easter insert. Show y'all how I painted it. And so the arm stand has 3 inserts. It has the hanging sign, the rectangular insert, and what we call the drop-in. And so this is the Life is Sweet watermelon one. And honestly, I haven't painted a new one since last summer. So I'm due. I have a winter and a summer, and now I'll have an Easter, and I have the fall. So I'm getting close. So I wanted to also let you know that the arm stand is on sale this week. So you might want to check that out. All right, so I'm gonna just get started. And since I had to paint it, I wanted to paint it with you guys. Keep you company, you can keep me company. Some of you guys are at lunch right now, and some of you are not. So I'm just going to separate my 3 inserts into taped pieces. So I have the eggs, and you can get as detailed on these eggs as you want. I'm not seeing that in my future. The girls are waiting for me to get next door to the workshop to help, so to speak. But basically, if you do the tape trick, it helps. I don't do the scripted words a long ways on my tape because when you peel them off, they're fragile. When you peel them off, it's just more contact surface you have to worry about. So I just do them like vertical like that, if that makes sense. And you could do this any way you want, with any color you want, and I'll probably start following along and then I'll just do my own thing because you know me, I'm not that great at following along exactly, but any spring color works. Any of your favorite color schemes work great. And then the other thing I wanted to point out is occasionally they're computer cut. I don't know why this happens. Oh, you know why? Because, can you see the grain going this way? Occasionally John turns it so he has room to cut another piece on that same layout, and this is what we've decided is a software issue. Sometimes these are just a smidge too long. We actually check each one, and then we run to the belt sander if we need to. It's more problems than it used to be. I don't know why. Hey Donna, perfect. And then, but what you can do is if you don't have a belt, one gets past us and you don't have a belt sander, you can either write me and I'll send you a new one. But if you don't want to wait, you can just put a lot of pressure on it and sand it down. But like I said, the girls are trained pretty good now, and happily most of them are corrected. We now know why it's doing it. Okay, that's not true. We now know what's causing it. We don't know why it's doing it. Okay, so these little eyes are super cute. Whoop. So Donna's in the house. Donna, she's sneaking a peek at lunch. So Donna, I was just saying, one of the new customers said, hey, do you happen to have this recorded? I don't. And I was like, I need a new one. I need an Easter one. So why don't I just go right ahead and do that? And then I have some sponge material. It's really like, what do you call it? Never been used inside the stuff that goes inside cushions. You guys know how I love my Martha Stewart holders and stuff, but that they're no longer available. And so I was gonna just pull off or cut off one of these pieces. And then if they work, I'll probably just make a whole bunch. Mainly I like them for the door hangers because it gets them done really, really quick. So if you're just joining, tell me if you're sneaking a peek. If you're on lunch hour, maybe you're retired. Donna says, I had a black one and no, I want a rusting. Weathered gray. So I have one that Sabrina painted, and she painted it gray and then she painted it metallic. So if you want to see what that looks like, I could take a photo on it, with it, on it, whatever. So let me go ahead and I'm going to do, this seems like a really large piece, actually, and we're going to cut it down. I have makeup sponges, but I actually was looking for something very specific in the texture and coverage of a sponge. I was at my dad's well, it's not his shop anymore, so I can't really just take something off the shelf. Though I probably would have said add it to my tab. I was at my dad's. He used to own a irrigation company in Montana, in Missoula, Montana. And Kevin's the new owner now, but I was thinking about just picking up a PVC cap. You guys know what that is, I'm sure. And seeing if I couldn't cut some of this to match so my hands didn't get all messy. Right away, I'm gonna say, when this gets wet, hey guys, thanks for the hearts and stuff. When this gets wet, it's not holding its shape as well. So I might have to just keep on looking. I was like, I had that, I bought it for this purpose. Love it. Okay, we're gonna take the lid off. So I was at the bottom of my jug over in the shop, and because, you know, we aren't doing a lot of paint parties in February, picks way up in March, I didn't want to open a container for just me because I didn't want it to dry out. So we're down to the bare nubbins, and I know you guys do this too. It's what you got to do. It is not holding its shape as well as I wanted to, but I wanted to try it because so many of you loved that Martha Stewart sponge set I had and their holders, and they were lovely. You can still get this done pretty quick, but it's not very firm. So if any of you guys make furniture, stuffed furniture, hey Shelly, long time. Hey Vic. Nice to have you join us. So let me know if you're new, where you're watching from. I don't normally come on this time, but I have so much I need to paint and so many requests that I thought, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. So if any of you work on, you know, like furniture, like stuffing cushions, or have an idea for a firmer, that's what I thought this was. Like a firmer sponge, but not that gray stuff that it's almost like the scouring pads. Let me know so I can pick some up and I can try it. Because what I like to do is try new things for you. You know, so you don't have to waste your money. Let me waste the money. A lot of it is a tax write-off for me. All right, so that was that. Okay, so the back of the board on my photo, and I'm sure this was what she was asking about, is blue and white and silver. Or you can make gray if you don't have silver. And it just adds a little dimension to the clouds. And you can use a stenciling brush if you wanted to, or just a really stiff old brush if you wanted to. I'm looking. I have so much of this stuff. So this one's stiff and it's a stenciling brush. So I also just took a pencil and drew, I'm backwards here, that hill line. I should just come do some stress therapy paint. Yeah, definitely. Donna, you're close. Take the day off, come on over. Or if not today, maybe, you seem like a planner. So maybe in the next day or two, let's plan it, come on in. You just have to dodge the dogs because we paint upstairs typically. So I'm just gonna do it with paint. You can paint the whole thing. And because you're looking for sky pattern, you don't want to paint up and down or vertically because the wind blows, typically, blows, you know, left to right, right to left. What is that? Horizontally. And I guess if things were blowing up and down, you might want to seek cover. Thanks, Shelly. And I know, man, I hadn't heard from you for a while. I know you live right here in town. Okay, I have some silver paint. You know what, let me pull out our paint kit. And so you will be using, probably, if you got the paint kit, you'd be using these colors anyway, plus silver or gray, make some gray. And I'm gonna just take my pencil or pen, whatever you have, and just draw a little hill. Whoop, nothing big, it's not gonna be noticeable too much. It's covered by the bunny butt. The little bunny butt. So basically where the bunny butt goes, and he's up a little from the bottom, that's kind of how low it's gonna be. So I'm just gonna come in here with just a curvy line. Super easy peasy. Trying this new angle for the camera when I'm sitting down, because otherwise I don't get to talk to you. You're looking at the top of my head, and hair isn't what it used to be up there. I'm saying it right now. Right now. You know, hey, guess what? I have a birthday in a couple days. Happy birthday to me. And I was gonna say, oh, I'm 50 whatever. And now I'm like, oh, I almost have to say I'm 50 whatever in a little bit. Okay, so you can use whatever color you want for the sky. I'm gonna use the lighter color, which is, we call island blue. It's our island blue color. You know what? Teal would be really pretty. And I'm just gonna mix some loosely, very, very loosely. And I'm just gonna do my painting left to right. So did you guys see yesterday, we were trying a new recipe, method of cooking while we were doing our live last night. And it was the skewered, kind of like gyro meat. I probably said that wrong. Gyro meat, but with chicken. So I don't want to over blend. And if you move quick enough, I can come back in with dark colors again. And so I followed the recipe exactly like we like to do on the first time, right? I don't know if you guys are the same. But what I did notice, the meat was deliciously marinated, but because it was a yogurt-based marinade, and this is what I found, you put the meat on a skewer, you know, just you pound out your chicken and you season it, marinate it, put it on the skewer and bake it until internal temperature 165. Or if you want to cheat death, you could go a little bit less, I guess. And the reason why I would go a little bit less is, okay, not to gross you out, but if you're texture conscious with food, and I am very, very much so, the chicken breast, in between the layers of chicken breast is what I'm trying to say, where the yogurt marinade was, and I didn't pour extra in there. What was happening was it got like, I want to say like kind of like milky, curdly, you know what I mean? Hey Susan, milky curdly. Does that make sense? I'm gonna come in. Just gonna start brushing some of this darker color on here with not any white, just going back and forth. And so at first I looked at it and I was like, nope. But then I was like, no, this is ridiculous. I spent a lot of time, hardly, it was pretty easy. I worked so hard marinating meat, sticking it in the fridge and putting it on the skewer and sliding it in the oven. Crazy. So I didn't want to waste it at all. So what I did was I sliced it, you know, just like you would gyro meat in the gyro store. And I'm sorry if you're Greek and I'm saying that wrong. And you could try to correct me here, but I'm still going to read it wrong. So what I did was I sliced it and put it in a really hot cast iron pan for just a minute and just got that crisp on it. And that's why I said maybe undercook it just a little bit, because, you know, chicken breast can be dry. The recipe called for chicken thighs, but, you know, you use what you have around the house. Okay, so the green we have in our paint kit is lovely, but I'll probably mix it, the dark green. It's more of a Hunter Kelly green, and then the Seahawks green here. I'm gonna mix it a little bit, again loosely, and then just paint the bottom. So all of these paint colors you have at home, but somebody was asking how I did the background, and I'm just here to show you. So I take a scoop of the light, because you could always deepen a color, but it is harder to lighten the color. Oops. Yes, I'm contaminating it. So let me know, have you ever tried cooking your meat that way? I know we talked about it last night. It's really delicious. We did a 4-pack of chicken breasts. Okay. To watch me, you gotta really like to paint, and you gotta really like food, and you gotta really like dogs. So I get it. So I'm making my grass a little lighter. I'm thinking, oh, it's spring. It's spring. Rooster's coming tonight, so his mom and dad can have a little date. Just trying to help the Easter Bunny. He's so cute. Sweet, sweet. Ha. So Facebook's doing some changes. Your comment might not be in order. So if I miss you, I'll come back and answer after I'm done. Yes, Shelly, it's been a hot minute, but I know I think you're a homeschool mom. I know you must be busy. So the first one is pretty dark. I went a little lighter, but again, you can come in here and deepen it if you want to. And that's what I like to do is I didn't overly mix. If I were to hold this up, you would see a very muddled color palette there. And then you can just come in. But honestly, the bunny, color, it covers almost all of it. Okay, there. So I just did 3 brush strokes, wet on wet. So now we have some dark stuff. The top should be mostly dry. I'm just gonna come in. I'm gonna try silver paint, but what's gonna happen is you're not gonna see it till it dries. And I'm gonna take a little bit of the darker blue. It started off cerulean blue, but it's just lightened over the last year. Oh, darkened, sorry. Oof. Head in the game, girl. Hi, how are you? Is that Lisa? What kind of paint do you use? So right now, watching during my break. Oh, Sherry's watching. Sherry, I saw your sign in town finally. I think it was on Pines. It could have been on Evergreen. I was just sitting there waiting for my turn to go, and I looked over and it was like, Sherry's CPR. And I was like, ooh, gotta have her come in sometime soon. Typically I use our paint, but it doesn't mean that's all I use. It's just that we have some pretty good variety. So if you're out in the country, this might be a way for you to get your paints. But I do have a collection of folk art, deco art, and is there another brand? Pretty much those two. Occasionally I will do Craft Smart also, but typically it's our paint, and typically that's what somebody's gonna be ordering if they're ordering paint from us. Okay, so I'm just, So I just loaded my stencil brush. This one's a pretty big one, but I'm gonna work on the edge, and I'm just gonna come in here. Of course I picked, oops. Okay, so right off the top of my head, it needs to dry. A little bit more. And what you wanna do is pick a color quite a bit lighter than your background or a little bit darker than your background. So I'm gonna do a little bit of blue, just a little bit, and then bring in some white and just a little bit of silver variety. And it won't show very well until, let's go way dark. Let's go way darker. Well, that would have been terrible, that color. Okay, so you don't want to start with that much. So you're going to take either your paper plate or just a wet wipe and just do circles and offload a lot of that paint, just a lot of it. I'm just going to come around, I was trying to just use the side, but it's not really working amazing. Here we go. So it is dry. I'm just trying to build up some cloud layers. That's layer 1. It's gonna be super awkward for a minute, but you can do a couple things and it'll dry pretty quick. I don't love these after I submerge them in water. They're good as soon as they dry out again. This was from Amazon years and years and years ago. Okay, so, and then what you can do is you can use the same brush, or you can use an angle brush if you want to. I'm gonna come in with some silver. This is Liquitex Fluid Acrylic. I also, because it's a nice light silver, but I also like Craft Smart has a silver. This is stingier, and sometimes that's what I'm looking for, sometimes not. Okay, so I'm gonna go in. So the blue is mixing with the silver just a little bit. And I'm not following exactly. Just kind of going over it. I like to do the edges, make it a little stormy. Honestly, I like it better where it's been mixed. So those of you that want to follow at home, that'll work. I'll show you, it hasn't dried yet. So it's a little stormy, we're not done yet. I'm gonna take an angle brush and I wetted it first, dried it off. And then I like to just try to look and see. You can do it on here. This is just quite large. You can do a fan brush. You can do an old crappy paintbrush. I like to keep some around. And you're just gonna, I'm gonna hold this angly ways. And I'm putting highlights at the top. I'm not doing much, not doing much. So eventually the goal is it's darker on the bottom, medium build in the middle, and lighter at the top. So pretty light at the top. And it doesn't have to be exact. And you're gonna find that you're gonna have to do white a couple times because it looks bright, it looks overly bright, it's gonna dry, and then hit it again. And sometimes I put another layer somewhere. Let it dry, see what you get. At that point, if my blue is a little too obnoxious, because it is a little, I might come in with gray. And then I may just come in with the dark blue. Let me see if I have enough. And gray. Or silver, whatever you got. Mix them together. Offload a lot. And just, nope, not today. Just do kind of a flattish line that's mixed. So I do blend with my finger a lot. So the clouds have like a little shelf. Just play. The first layer or two of clouds are a little, you know, awkward. And then you'll just start playing. You'll maybe do a lighter color or a lighter line, skinnier line. You'll get it. If they're too dark, just start layering. I'm not going for the Bob Ross browns and grays that he has. I'm still trying to use some of the light. So basically, when the bunny gets on there, it's just gonna be some subtle clouds in the background. See that? So Dawn is here. Hello, Donna. Hi. And Tracy's here. Hey, hey. So I hope I got everybody so far. If I missed you, just please keep in mind that, you know, I just might not have seen your work, your comment. So here is a smaller, quite a bit smaller stenciling brush. So it just depends what you're looking for. And then I do love, oh, see, that one's adding a lot. I do love, but you don't have to, adding some heavy body white paint. And the reason why is it's completely flat and, okay, flat and sheen, and it's got some fluff to it, and it just adds another texture. So that's what I like to do for my clouds. Near the top, maybe some wisps in between. And it just really helps pull it all together. You gotta remember, I used to teach canvas painting, and so we would do a lot of these cheat techniques that give you a really nice cloud base. So right here, I might kind of put a little bit more love there so it's not so contrasty. You see that? It's almost a shame to put the bunny in front. So honestly, it wasn't a big stretch for me to go from artsy canvas to crafty wood with that art component. And some people are like, oh, I'm an artist, I don't want to do crafts. And I'm like, honestly, I felt that same way, but you can bring all of your art, your high art experience to the craft world and just blow it out of the water. Seriously. I had a little pushback at first when I did a lot of switching. Now I still do have canvases on my website, but there's some people that are just, some of my peers are just dedicated to the canvas world. That's just their thing. I was just ready for something else, and I love the variety that I have. So hopefully you guys liked him. Oh, I have hands. Okay, I'm gonna make some gray. I'm just gonna do a gray bunny. And then I have my whiteboard to do. So it's pretty easy. I spent more time in the background than I normally would. And as this dries, it's gonna look a little bit different. So paint shrinks at the rate of 33 1/3% acrylic paint typically. Some of the paint is shiny and some is flat. And the darker colors is gonna get deeper where the lighter colors are gonna be a little bit more contrasty. My hair's doing weird things today. It's distracting. All right, so tell me guys, what are you guys doing today? I'm sitting here literally watching things blow by. It's pretty darn windy here today. Some of you guys are on the West Coast. I know Donna, you don't live, Donna H, you don't live right here. Tracy, I know you don't either. I'm trying to remember. Shelly does and the other Donna does. So, I mean, what's going on with the weather? Is it crazy like it is here? Just gonna make myself up some gray. I have a gray here, but it is, it has a little brown in it. So it is good bunny color, but I'm just gonna mix some up, right? It's about the lady that wanted to see what I would do for the background on this. So now you could use your sponge. Paint him in. I'm just gonna go ahead and paint everything in. I didn't overly blend. My paint's a little thick, so I'm gonna water it down just a little bit. The wood doesn't love to get drenched. And gray is a really good priming coat. You guys could come in here, you could do complete texture for the fur. That would look super cute. You're gonna excuse me that I'm not doing that myself. I know. And then I'm sure Cindy P, or Christy P, sorry Christy, will be watching this later. And if you do, happy birthday. Her birthday's a day or two after mine, she told me. Okay, you're just gonna come through, paint them as many times as you want. As long as you're doing thin layers, you're gonna see the etch marks, super cute. Oh, we finally are having sunny weather with highs of 58. Nice. Tracy's pushing 50 and she's doing an Easter craft. So it's just a good day for Tracy. I love it. Love it, love it. While I have all of you guys, what are some other things, other themes you're thinking of for your arm stands? A lot of you guys already have the arm stands. If you don't, the stand itself is on sale this week. So I don't want you to miss that because I didn't really put it in the emails. I think it was at the bottom, but too many other things to talk about. So we have 65 different inserts and most of them are seasonal and or holiday themed, but there are some lifestyle ones. Also like game night, that kind of thing. And so I'm always thinking, you know, John's like, would you please just make a Sasquatch one already? I'm like, you and 5 other people would like that. Oh my gosh. I'd keep it up all the time because I like Sasquatch, but I would do it mainly for my husband. Okay, so I'm gonna dry his chestal region here, and then I'm gonna paint it white and paint the ears pink. Now, I'm gonna go up and down with short brush strokes with my angle brush, but use it almost like a flat brush. And that's to mimic, you know, texture for the hair. I could also come in with a heavy body, fluid acrylic, no, not fluid, just heavy body acrylic. I'm using Liquitex, but there are other types. I didn't love the Walmart brand, but there's also just the, trying to think what Michael's brand, Artist Loft. It wasn't bad. So, you know, whatever's in your budget, but just know that this is pre-COVID and I don't use it very much. And it's still very soft. It's got a really nice container. I try to keep the lid on tight. So it's probably $5 to $8, but use a coupon code. Definitely. I'll put that aside. What am I on now? Oh, I'm gonna do his hands. So let me work on his face. So it's just about separating your pieces and just working your way through. Looking good. So I don't hear the dogs right here. Sabrina put baby gates at the top of the stairs. Or at the bottom of the stairs, I guess I should say. Because she's so smart. Dum dum. Okay, his bow tie is blue. That was nice. In the photo, just our dark blue. I'm just gonna use a different color because I like other colors. I'm gonna do our teal about it, teal me about it. And then I'll probably do the glasses black, but again, the photo just uses our dark blue that comes in the paint kit. So what other colors could you use? So cerulean blue, sure. Deco Art, not the primary, but the true blue would be very similar. Typically, I would do a silver frame, but you know what? The bunny is gray. That doesn't make much sense. So you can use your sponge for this. Let me see what we get. Susan says, one of my cows is in the... Aww, that's so exciting. It's so exciting. Susan, how many cows do you have? Because you use language like one of my cows. One of my cows. So, oh, this is the knot for my bow. It's like a little soft angled rectangle. So you could paint it the same color or not paint it the same color. I'm feeling like not painting it the same color. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'll do the same color. Just keep it simple. If you need to dig out the paint in your etch lines, it's easier to do before they dry. Are you gonna do some distressing on the bunny? I may. Most likely I'll probably just do some shading around the sides, but are you talking distressing with the sanding block or with paint? So I'll probably just do some shading. I'll show you a couple different techniques I would use. So I like, for carrots, I tend to like our terracotta, which does not come in the paint kit, but let me tell you, it's just the orange with a little bit of brown. It's not coming out. It's like people this time of year and at fall, people are always asking. And I made a big bucket of this, but it's not one of the colors that made it into the paint kit. It wasn't picked. Put me in, coach. Nope. That time of year. Good grief. What I need to do is downsize these bottles to a little bit more practical size, you know what I mean? So the first coat, so what you want to do is you want to look at your carrots. If there's any soot on them from the machines, and we do try, but sometimes, you know, it gets by. You want to, you know, use a wet wipe and clean it up. Today they're fine. I had a spot on my eyeball though. Because as you paint that first coat, the paint will activate the soot and just make it kind of a dingy base coat. Just means you need an extra paint layer. It's just one of the things about a laser cutter. Anything else is orange. Okay, so while I have the orange out, my tea is orange, and you could use a sponge. It would make it way easier. But because I used every color in the rainbow, that would be a lot of sponges. So I just use the edge of my angle brush. I don't overly load it either. Okay, and one of the eggs, which is a little sooty, there you go. I don't know if you can see that. It's just a little bit of brown that comes off, and I didn't want it in my paint. Okay, one of the eggs, I picked the egg that has the dots on it, and then I'll come back and give those a second coat, most likely. I might do that after the filming though. Okay, eyeballs, I tend to paint it all white, and then I come back, and in the original, I painted them blue. But you know, honestly, you can do any color you want. But because I really want that crisp line where the etching is, I am going to pick up a pointed restaurant toothpick and just clean it right now. So it's just easier, works better if you clean it when the paint is wet. And then the nose is soft pink. Okay, anything else? White. Okay. So I'm just gonna come in really quick, do the, bunny butt. The bunny butt, white one more time with my angle brush. And then I'm gonna do the stomach up and down so it looks a little bit like fur. And what you could do, and I could quickly switch out my paint, is move to a different sheen of paint. Like the basic fluid acrylics tend to be higher gloss. So as long as you weren't spraying your work with a, you know, like a satin or something glossy, it would be a different color sheen, excuse me, than the rest of the bunny. So it would stand out a little bit more. So I'm just doing short little lines, staggering them a little bit. Not blending, so when it dries, it has a little bit of a textured look. I'm trying to turn it so you guys can see that. But I think I'm gonna come in with some heavy body also. Just to put it in there so it's a little fluffy. Again, you don't have to do that. If you're just starting and that's outside of your comfort level, if you don't wanna do clouds, it's okay. What you can do instead is just block colors, right? Just do block colors, it's fine. As you continue down your journey, you're gonna get better and better. You're gonna pick up techniques from me or other people, like if you went to a paint party or other instructors out there, you're gonna just start picking up all of this awesomeness. None of us start out knowing it all. We just practice till we're comfortable and then we share it with others. 19, how? 2 calves, born Sunday, and another last week. So you're a regular Pioneer woman. You're a Ray Drummond, you got it all. Susan, remind me which state you live in. I was thinking the middle of the country, but now I'm like second guessing. That's fun though. Just hitting that orange one more time. Switching out my colors. I'm going in to paint the top of my carrots green. And then I'm looking to see, do I have any other green I need to paint? So while I'm out painting something, a color, I try to just be efficient and just do it before my paint dries. If it's your first time painting on wood, most likely you will need 2 coats, occasionally 3. Okay, one of these half eggs. One of these half eggs, and I think it's this one, is a green. And my E, or my A, excuse me, is a light green. Use any color green you like. And then I have a dark green egg. So let me just clean my paintbrush really quick. And like I said, you could do it any color you want, but I had a lady that said, hey, can you show me how you did this? I'm just starting out, and I thought, sure. Okay, this one. Dark green. Okay, moving right along. So now it's just a matter of following the color palette. The top E is pink, and then the bottom E is yellow, so I'm gonna pull out the yellow. So let's chat while I do all of that. Missouri, that's right. That's right. And then when we lived in Bloomington, Illinois for 2 years, you know, John got transferred there for 2 years. We did go to St. Louis a few times. And that was so nice because Bloomington is honestly a great town. It's a college town, and that was my thing. I'm like, sure, I'll move our family halfway across the country, but we will choose a town that has a decent airport, and it would be a college town. And that's because I just like the opportunity that the college town, you know, affords you with going out and, you know, the arts and things like that. Good food like pizza. But visually, we went from Missoula, Montana, which is visually gorgeous, to a town that was as flat as could be. They say you could see four states if you stand on a tuna can, things like that. And that the state tree, I didn't make these up, the state tree is a telephone pole. That's super funny. The good news is when you live there, you will never meet people so nice, just so kind as you do in the Midwest, all up and down the Midwest. You almost know immediately that somebody's from the Midwest because of how they speak. They look you in the eye. They're super kind to you. They slow down. They talk to you. I just think they're just super duper awesome people. Forgot one. But when we'd go to Missouri, I loved it because all of a sudden you go from this flat, just cornfields to a little variety in the landscape, some rolling hills. And then, I don't know, Susan, a long time ago, I went to take my boys. Have you been? Gotcha. So Susan, my husband wants me to ask you, he used to be a traveling septic manager or whatever, so he had to travel to all the state offices of the government for septic stuff, and he'd go down through there, and he swears, okay, it's John, but he's not like, ooh, he swears he saw some weird lights one night in the sky. And so he wanted me to ask you, have you had a close encounter? Maybe not, maybe some weird lights in the sky. Have you had anything, if you want to tell us, weird that's happened to you in Missouri? So he asked me to ask you. Cracks me up. Okay. It's okay if you say no, but maybe the answer is yes. So once I taught a Bigfoot class, like a Bigfoot painting class, and I just casually asked the question, hey, has anybody here had an encounter? The class had 24, 25 people in it, and I would say 6 to 8 people had seen something they couldn't explain. And one person, it made them so uncomfortable that they just did not want to talk about it. They said, oh, they said, yep, happened to me, but they didn't want to spend any more energy on it, if that makes sense. So, I live in Missouri. Oh, we got another Missouri. A long time ago. Oh, I read that already. Missouri. I'm so surprised we have so many people that watch from the Midwest. And maybe it's because, you know, we have, I lived there for a while, so we had some people that would follow us, and maybe they shared a couple times, and then those people shared again. So if you're looking for a dark purple, there's always dioxazine purple, or you can just add a dot of black to your purple, a dot of brown even, to get a really dark tone purple, eggplanty. Oh, I might have gone too far, people. I went too far. Just gonna squeeze out some of this. Dioxazine is just a really fancy word for the dark purple. That is an artist purple. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do happy in this color. It's gonna pop off of the white very nicely. Okay, we're almost done. We're just whipping through. So it seemed like a lot of pieces at first, and it just has a way of, you just have a way of just dividing it up and getting through. So real quick before I move on to the rest of my eggs, a couple different ways you can do the basket weave. It has a really nice basket weave. You can just pick up your favorite, finish. Like this one is natural, and that would look really nice. But honestly, what you can also do is just take a wet wipe. And then this is our new brown. It's cowboy hat brown. And I think it makes a good like gingerbread color. But I think it'll make a nice basket color. Let's try it. So you don't want to paint your etched pieces heavily if you still want to see them. Okay, so I'm just going to come in here with a wet wipe. You could water it down. You could test it on the back first. A lot of times I like to add gold to my brown. It naturally lightens it up because gold is a little transparent. But what I don't want to do is pick up a paintbrush with a lot of paint and paint this in and then expect to see my etched lines. Just want to show you this really quick. Right? Oops. And still see everything really good. Okay, so Susan says, no weird lights, other weird things. You might have to send me a message about those weird things. I know people don't really like to put themselves out there. So I understand completely. John and I just, you know, like if anything weird happened, we share. No, not a problem. But I understand completely. People already know I'm nuts, right? So it doesn't bother me at all. Okay, let me go back and finish my purple. Another one of these. I got a purple egg. You can make it regular purple. You can, oh, I did my egg already. Went lighter. All right, so what am I missing for my egg? I have a red, I've got to paint a red R. Okay, we're almost done. So pick out your favorite red. Red almost always needs a couple coats. This one's kind of a Christmas red. I might not love it after I paint it because it is very Christmassy red. And it is a cadmium medium. Cadmium medium. So that is a art paint, an artist paint, like a fine artist paint instead of a craft paint. And red in craft to me is very difficult because they typically put in a base coat primer in it and it lightens it up. Almost makes your paint pastel-y. I think you guys know what I mean, right? You guys know what I mean. So a lot of reds can be very pastel-y. You can get around that by adding a dot of brown. Know that you'll make multiple coats. It's okay. Whatever you decide will work. But I like to keep, it's $5, but normally you can buy one, get one 50%. Normally there's a coupon. This is at Michael's. It's Liquitex Fluid Acrylic. And this one is, oh, it's Deep Q. Sorry, it's cadmium red Deep Q. This will last you a year or two. I paint a lot more than you, most likely. I don't know, maybe. But at Christmas time, I go through it, definitely. Okay, so dark blue, dark blue. So I just wanted to share that if you wanted that. I'm not a affiliate with anybody, so I just want to share what works for me. Okay. And I love it when you guys share what works for you. Okay, a light blue. For this egg, we're almost done, and then it's detail time. We're done. Okay, so this egg, I think I'm gonna water down some pink because I have a paint pen that's coming in later today that's white, and then I can just use that paint pen, but I don't like my white paint pen now. I used it once or twice, maybe pushed too hard, and so the end is kind of frayed. Donna says, I've had a few odd experiences at the hospital when I worked. Did you now? I tried to make your brown for a gingerbread and it turned color like a ha. So typically for gingerbread, I do a couple different things. I use brown, and then I would put either yellow or red in it or gold in it and water it down. If you put too much black, it can look like the color that you showed me. The poop emoji. All right, so here we go. Last thing to paint is the nose and the ears. So a very soft pink. Since I have red out, I'm just gonna make my own pinkish color for the ears. Okay, I have a angle brush. It's still pretty neat and orderly, so I can literally just do the inside of his ear with an angle brush. But pull out a small paintbrush, that's fine too. So I just have to go back and press it so it's behaving, the bristles are behaving. If you're older and you're wobbly, can you see that I'm braced? But I'm also braced here. My elbows are dug into my sides, and so they're braced there. So I'm braced on two sides. And then if you're trying to paint chicken arm out here, you're gonna be shaky. So do yourself a favor, specifically as we age, we have to do these little tweaks that allow our body to still, you know, hold the paintbrush steady. So I'm not out here, I'm braced on the table in a couple different spots. So try that if you're noticing that, oh man, I'd love to paint, but I'm just too shaky. That can help. Once again, the elbow in, you know, you're probably gonna be somewhat across your body. And then try not to have too strong a grip. You wanna be able to walk by and take your paintbrush out. It's kind of a little cheat, but I always did that with the kids. Like if they were holding too hard, then your line is too controlled, right? Your wrist doesn't wanna turn. So you wanna be Harry Potter, so to speak. Okay, so let's talk about some detail work. Everything's done, we just have to glue it together. Let's do some detail work. This is my favorite glue. It's Type On Quick and Thick. I really love it. Don't squeeze out too much, it will dry quickly. The only thing I don't love about it is that as you get halfway down, it does become, it's thick, so it's quick and thick. It does become kind of hard to spread. So Donna, I'm circling back to you. Don't think I'm not gonna pick your brain about what was the weird things that were happening. Because if Sherry's still here, she actually has some, I hope that's okay that I say this, so she has some ghost hunting equipment, and I'm sure John's gonna be wanting, I don't know, he's just really into that stuff. He doesn't believe in them at all, but he thinks that the technology is interesting. For me, if anybody came to my house and did that, we are very close to the old county dump. I mean, it's been redone and it's a super fun site and has been for 30 years, so you would never, ever, ever know. But if somebody saw or heard a ghost on my property, I would be out of here so fast, and he knows that. Okay, a couple things. You can just make a paint and float with an angle brush a dark edge. You can use a Q-tip, you can use a sponge, you can use just a darker gray. I'm gonna use my gelato pens, and let's just do it this way. I'm just gonna go around the edge. Did I bring in a Q-tip? Maybe not, I thought I did. I'm just gonna go around the edge really lightly on this side. And you don't have to do this step. I like to ground my work on the sides. So hold on, I've noticed I've been shaking all of the time now, especially when I'm doing crafts. I don't know why. I'm pushing 55. So there could be a medical reason, and I'm not a doctor. It could be because we lose a lot of our core muscles as we hit menopause. Gonna say it, that ugly M word. I'm just taking a paintbrush and I'm smoothing this, and guess what? If I don't like it, I'll come back in with gray. So we're losing a lot of core muscle. So you could work out specifically so you can paint. So I'm dealing with the same issue right now. And when I was a potter, there was a book I read, and it said the number one tool an artist has is their body. So to keep it strong is what they said. So I don't know if that applies or whatever, but I did notice that this year, maybe even last year, I had a lot of muscle loss. Let's go that route. We got busy in the shop, and I didn't make working out a priority. And then, of course, I hurt my back 3 weeks ago working out. So I don't know if that's happened to any of you guys. Okay. Okay, so it is just a little bit dark. So I want to hold it up. It doesn't have to be perfect, guys. It is a little bit dark. So what I'm going to do is make myself a little bit of gray. You can water it down, but then take some of the paint or water off. And then you can just go in and soften this. I will have to spray this most likely, because this is a water soluble. Oh, you know what? Actually, by adding the paint, I don't, because the paint makes it stick. Okay, I'm gonna clean out my paintbrush a little bit. I think I can do better than that. So, so Tracy, that's what I would check out first. If health-wise you're doing great, as we hit menopause or go through it, or maybe you're on the other side, you know, I don't need to know. There is some muscle loss. And so if your core is not really as strong, you might not be doing the things that you normally would have done in the past to stabilize yourself. You might, you know, like bingo wings, right? Bingo wings don't have a lot of strength. So, you know, by maybe making those adjustments, you know, leaning a little bit, making sure your core is tight. I'm wearing a waist trainer. I'm not wearing the waist trainer so that I'm training my waist to be skinny, because I've already given up, because I just don't care. I'm wearing it because, you know, it's one of the ones, it's cloth, and you just go like this. Because it's strengthening my back, because otherwise sitting would hurt too long. So there's so many things that I'm sure other people here could give you their tricks too. But just check out with your doctor first. Make sure you don't have anything happening. And if not, then you can just assume, hey girl, we're getting old. And if you want to live and craft for a long time, you know, we might have to pick up some dumbbells and work on our, you know, core and such as that. So that number one tool we have, we got to keep it strong. That's why I started working out, and I'll be darned if I didn't just tweak my back. So here we go. I'm just going to make his tummy a little fluffy and his tail a little fluffy with my heavy body acrylics. Let's see what we got. Tracy, eyebrows. Oh, Tracy, okay. Girl, that you've lost weight rather quickly. And when you do that, you know, I don't have to tell you, you're smart. You know, you lost some stomach or some muscles too. That's okay. Get to where you want to be. And then, you know, pump the iron. Pick up some dumbbells. Yep, it's just not, sorry, I have nutrition classes when I was in high school or college, and not everything you're losing is just fat. Some of it is muscle too. And it's okay as your body readjusts and stuff, you're gonna be okay. But it's very interesting that you notice that. Okay, whoop, whoop, whoop. And yes, I know, I put it on my hand. All right, so as this paint dries, it will shrink. It won't be as fluffy. Let me see if I can hold it that way. It won't be as fluffy, but you'll still have texture. It'll be a little bit more noticeable because it's a little bit different sheen. Okay. Oh, the meds. Okay, meds, yeah. You know, maybe you won't have to take them forever. Who knows? That'd be great. The side effects from meds are always just so pleasant, aren't they? All right, so you're gonna definitely wanna look at all of your pieces and see if you are gonna need a second coat. Here's my background. And as it dries, you can see some shimmer from the silver, and then the heavy body acrylics throw off a different sheen. Okay, so moving on. You're gonna wanna use some clamps, probably. Helps if you take the lid off. Once my, oh, your foot, oh yeah, okay. I remember that. It seems like a long time. Oh yeah, you told me that. That was you, that's right. That's, you know, it is different. And I say this because I lost my brother and my mother in the same year. And it is different when you're somehow, I mean, it's still tragic when you're expecting it and it eventually happens. It's still very tragic. But in some ways, you've been preparing mentally and emotionally for that versus if you have no warning whatsoever. And then to see your son and grandchildren going through it also. I mean, it's just different. Oh, so it's flat on the bunny's flat on one side, so slide him over. It's totally different. Yeah, so he's supposed to sit on the side, but then he is off center at that point, but it's only because his tail sticks out. His big old booty sticks out. And it is tragic, and I'm so sorry that your family has gone through that. That's insane. That's not news you ever want to hear for your family. Oh my gosh, I totally didn't paint the inside of my ears yet, or eyeballs yet. Yes, and you did your foot surgery, and that's been a long time healing. I haven't heard of very many people doing a foot surgery. I'm at that age that everyone's like, oh, knees and what is the other one? Hips. So they hang a little off the face, but right above where the nose is gonna go. He's so cute. Call him Professor. I'm actually gonna paint or glue my eyes in and then paint them with a small paintbrush when they're in place. I haven't decided what color yet to use. I could have scraped out my whiskers and my, what's it called? Straight line and then the curve, the mouth. I guess it's the mouth of the bunny. I haven't done that yet. He said right now he's a zombie. He does not have an eyeball at all. But I wanted to get this in place first. There you go. Ta-da. Too puffy. And you could make the hands puffy if you wanted to. I should have done a little shading around the hands, definitely. So I may pull out a little bit of black paint and do a little float around the edge real quick. Just gonna water that down just a little bit. most of it off. Do it with a sponge if you wanted to. If your lines get, say, you know what I mean? If I say fugly lines, you know what I mean. If they get ugly, just come in with your paint, clean them up, or use a distractive technique like the dots and the wiggly lines that you see in all of my artwork. Most of them are covering up a multitude of sin. Most of them. All right. Next, okay, so this one is mostly done. Oh, no, darn it, I'm so glad I looked. That's wrong. Back it up, pull off a hand. The carrots are supposed to go down first. I'm glad I looked. Okay, so they're going across the tummy, across his body. And this hand is on top. All right, now we're gonna show you. There we go, super cute. He's missing some eyeballs. We'll get them in, don't worry. Okay, so he also is missing his bow tie. He's complicated. I'm gonna call him Professor. He is complicated. So, did I go too high with the carrots? Most likely. So it goes under his chin. He's got a little bit of a double chin. A little bit, but I like it like that. I think that's adorable. Put that in there. All right, almost done. Okay, so happy goes on the top. Carefully pull it off because the font is very delicate. Most of the time you can just glue them back on and it's fine. I'm gonna lay my Easter out so I know I have it right where I want it. And you can go straight down, you can zigzag it, you can go this way. Happy Easter. I'm gonna go down. I said somebody wanted my directions on how to do it. The backer board is not etched, so that's why I'm laying it out first. I think I like a little bit more space at the top. There we go. So for the most part, that works out great. I had, oh wow, that's Tracy. So it sounds like you haven't had the opportunity to even keep the body strong for a lot. That sounds painful. Susan, let me see what you're saying here. I love those glasses, I know. And that's why I said I'm calling him Professor. I'm calling him the Professor. Here we go. Trying to pick them up and put them right back down. So what I like about this glue is it gives me, it's not super glue. So you guys have seen me use super glue and that is a dinner and a show right there. My fingers are stuck, I'm stuck everywhere. This gives you a little bit of time. Don't over glue because then you're gonna get that Ouija board effect where you think that it's glued right where you want it, and guess what? You're gonna be disappointed because it moved. When you weren't looking, it moved. Okay, so there we go. It gives you a little, this glue gives you a little bit of time to move something. If it was larger and I did use more glue, I would clamp it. What do I mean by clamp? Chip clips, chip clips. Get yourself down there to the dollar store and get some chip clips, or I like mine from Home Goods. Me and Sabrina try to take a date once a week. That's a lot. Once in a while to Home Goods, just to get, you know, new pillowcases. I mean, we only get one or two things when we go. We try to be very responsible. Or a new throw blanket. We kind of have a blanket problem. There are 2 rooms in our house that we could like cuddle up on a couch with, and we like to have nice blankets, super soft blankets in each room. there's 3 of us at the house at one time, most of the time. And so, of course, that means we need to have 3 blankets. There we go. All right, so we're still gonna come in. We're gonna make those pretty. There we go. And then the last thing is your insert, the drop-in insert. Please keep your tab open. It's what fits inside the little slot. Tab A, slot B, that kind of thing. And then we'll switch this out. Then I'll come back later and I'll do some detail work, like putting in his eyeball. Oh my gosh. Okay, Mr. John wanted to see if we could have a date today. I don't know, it's getting kind of late. I gotta check and see how the girls are doing over in the workshop. And we have rooster, excuse me, tonight. Normally what that means is we need to go to the lumber yard and he wants some help. Is normally what that means. And so he knows it's gonna cost him like cheese sticks or something. Something crazy. This comes together just perfectly. I love my blue egg because it's a little ombre effect. I didn't plan it, it just worked. It was a happy little mistake. And like all of the detail work that I'm gonna do in here, I'm gonna do with my paint pens that come later today. Please God, Amazon, make those paint pens come. And so I ordered my birthday presents. I help out John. And so what I got was, so Rooster is 19 months old. I got him an activity table and then started getting them art supplies that are appropriate for his age, like temper cakes and stuff like that. And they should come in tomorrow and I'm super excited. All right, how cute is that? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and trade out. Like I said, I'll come back later and I will do final detail work. So if you were the one that asked for the video, just kind of scrutinize the photo and see what I did and what I added, but I got you most of the way there. Okay, so we use 1-inch binder clamps, the rings. I don't love them, but they work. It takes me a while to get one done. Some of you guys are ordering, not from us, but you know, like Amazon, like an S clip. And that works too, and then you wouldn't have to do this. Okay, but with my grandson, he's a very touchy person. There he is, there it is. Okay, easy peasy. Okay, came right off. Taking that out and this out. So the way to take these out is you're just gonna go in the back and use something and pop them out. Pretty easy. The other thing I wanted to point out is when you're putting this together, make sure that this hole, and I have it on the paperwork, is in the front, because if it's in the back, things don't work proper. Okay. So I'm just gonna attach. You can paint the back of these. I'm not an overachiever, so I typically don't. And mine is on a buffet cabinet, so it's not like mine's on the table, and you can see it from all directions. And you'd see this little kid would be like, Grandmama, why didn't you paint the back? Okay, they do that. They call you out. Let me see if I can do this without looking at it. Can I do it? Oh, popped it in. And finally, the drop-in. That's what I call it. So the 3-piece Happy Easter Bunny. Still haven't done his eyes, but that's okay. You guys will have to forgive me and wait for the final shoot on him. I hope you liked it. Thanks for keeping me company, and we learned a lot about each other today. I love it. Lisa says, I have a blanket problem. No, I know, they're so soft. They're so soft. But then they went through a little phase and they weren't as pretty. So we haven't gotten any recently. But I know, we're blanket twinsies. But anyway, thanks so much for hanging out with me today while I painted and we chit-chatted. So I'm gonna be here a lot this week. And then I'm gonna also show you how to do this really inexpensive craft with your family for Easter with these guys. You'll like it. Check out. Bye-bye.